Okay guys, I just want to show off this message really quick that is requesting a monarch deck, and I did tell the guy that I made a monarch deck, or actually have one right at the moment. So right, we're going to go right into some Yu-Gi-Oh! Decade Duels right after I can find it, and you can look at all those games, I guess. I don't know. Oh, mother. Thank you, Xbox. I'm trying to do a video and you're putting me in Video Connect. Oh, thank you very much. Okay, so anyways, this is a video out to, well, I'm not gonna try pronouncing it because I'll just butcher the name, but this is, you saw the name in the beginning, so, yeah, I'm gonna make sure that's in the video, and I don't want to stop the recording, even though it would be better if I didn't just make you guys watch all this. Gosh darn it. Alright, so yeah, I just wanted to show the guy that requested this, and if you guys are, yeah, we'll save that deck for a bit. There it is. So he requested a monarch deck, and I want to show off his name because he requested it. So anyways, this is my monarchs, and I had a whole extra deck. What the heck? Whatever. I saved it. I'm pretty sure I did, but whatever. This is my monarch deck. This is my macro monarchs, and basically what it is what we'll get into the combos in a bit, but yeah, this is my version of monarchs. The reason I'm doing a deck recipe before I do the duels is because of the fact that since it is removed from play deck, people will rage quit and it will be really not interesting to watch. So I'll do the video deck recipe before I do the actual duels. So to start off, we have one Banisher of the Radiance. It's not a great defender, but it has a decent attack, and it banishes everything instead of sending to the grave. So yeah, I guess those cards in there really quickly, and also it helps if you're not trying to macros. The problem with this is because of it being a monster, it's easier to take this out. Also, you can use Honest with it, and you can attack under gravity binds and level limits with it. So one breaker, you summon it and it blows up back row basically. But I've gone over breaker in their video, but just one breaker. 3 Kaias, because he's the best of all the monarchs in my opinion. I mean, Ryaza is probably the second best, and then followed by Mobius or I don't even know how to pronounce the other one. So anyways, if you tribute summon, which all monarchs, you need a tribute summon to get their effect. If you tribute summon this, what's it called? If you tribute summon this, you can banish 1 card in the field, and if it happens to be a dark, they take 1000 damage. You can banish your own card too. It doesn't state you have to banish an opponent's card. So, if your opponent has 1000 life points, summon this and banish this in this game. As simple as that. So 3 of them, and all the monarchs are 2400 attack, 1000 defense. Another interesting thing, and they're all level 6. 1 second. Okay. Oh, what? That's right. Right. 1 Cyber Dragon, really good in monarchs because you can special summon this and you contribute it for a monarch. Also, I don't know why I don't have a Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon in here yet, but you can also use this to bring out Chimera Tech Fortress Dragons. So I'm gonna throw one of those in there. 2 Cyber Valleys. So this is an interesting thing. It has 3 effects, but 0 attack and defense. So if your opponent attacks, then you can banish this card to negate their attack. Wait. Oh no. You can end their battle phase. It's not negating their attack. So you can basically do that to draw one card, or you can banish this card and another card to draw 2 cards, or you can banish one card in your graveyard and this card and place a card on top of your deck. Pretty good. We run 2 of them for more draw power and stalling. 3 DD Scout Planes. We are playing Macro Cosmos and DD Fissure. So when this goes to the banish zone, no matter what, except if it's face down by DD Reincarnation, I think, or something like that, it comes back to the field. The only downside is it comes back in attack mode, but it is a really great tribute if you're doing the great tribute if you're doing Monarchs and Macrocosmos. So 3 of these, 3 DD survivors. Now his effect is when he's destroyed while he's on the field, he special summon. No, when he's banished from the field, then he gets special summon back in attack or defense. I love this card so much, and it's pretty annoying to deal with Scout Planes and DD survivors, because mostly all the traps will not do jack squat to it. If you're curious, the only way to stop these is usually get rid of the card that's banishing them in the first place, or play the spell card that puts it into the graveyard. 1 DD Warrior Lady. It's got decent stats and sorry about that. But when it's attacked, or you can attack, you can choose to banish a card, which is really good. Most people play like Assailants or whatever, but this one is by far better than Assailant if you're wanting to control what you banish. 2 Gravekeeper Spy, 3 is just pushing it. It's a 2000 defense, and its effect is you can special summon another one if you flip summon it, or flip it, my bad. It's in there for tributes and also a stall out. 1 Mobius, it takes, when it's summoned, tribute summoned, you can destroy 2 spells and traps on the field. So that's good. And since it says you can, it is a for sure thing that you're not gonna blow up your own spells and traps. And as I said, 2400 attack and 1000 defense for each Monarch. Oh, I'm so tired. Sorry about that, guys. Ryaza, he has the ability to return a card to the top of the deck, right in your field or your opponent's field. You usually will not run into this card unless you're playing a bounce back deck, playing against bounce backs or Darsamorgs. So yeah, but it's really good to run this deck. It's the second best Monarch because it gets rid of Stardust, Red Dragons, and all that. No one appreciates Ryaza when it comes on the field and uses effect. Also, it's a winged beast if you use Icarus attack, which is really broken. Let's see. 1 Zarbog. When it's summoned, you can, what's it called? Destroy a monster on the field. No, it's not you can't. You have to destroy a monster on the field. So, what you have to worry about with this is, since there's nothing about you can, when it's summoned, if there's no other monster in the field, you'll blow this. It'll end up blowing yourself up. So you have to be careful. I'm very aware there's the Fire Monarch, the Light Monarch, and the Rock Monarch. But these ones are pretty much the ones that keep your opponent locked down. And also the Fire Monarch, I believe, if you try playing him in this deck, would not work because of his discard to the grave effect. So that's why he's not in here. There's the other way of playing Monarchs, but I prefer this way because it keeps like Stardust from stopping a lot of things and all that stuff. Right, so we'll get into the spells now. 2 Lure Darkness, because you have plenty of darks and you can banish the scout planes and they come back. 1 Brain Control, just take over opponent's monster, tribute it, and summon. And also that's, you're not playing Mind Controls because Mind Control doesn't let you tribute. 3 Dimensional Fissures, because you need to have the ability to banish stuff if you're using this deck. 2 Enemy Controllers, it basically take control of your opponent's monster, and the good thing is you can send this, you have Dimensional Fissure, use Enemy Controller, tribute this, it goes to the banish zone and take a monster and summon a Monarch. Then this will come back in the next turn, same thing for this. 1 Giant Trunade, you could play Heavy Storm, but the problem with Heavy Storm over Trunade in this situation is because you're playing too many continuous stuff that you don't want to blow it up. So we have 2 Grand Convergence, and it's basically Dark Hole, and your opponent takes 300 life points or damage to their life points. Also, you have to have Macrocosmos on the field. Yeah. So basically, it's Dark Hole. So you have 2 Dark Holes right there. It'll take out like everything. You could easily just use this. Oh, it's a quick play too. I forgot to mention that. So you can. It's a quick play Dark Hole, which your opponent goes, okay, I summon Fire Dog and Flamvel Magician. The reason I bring those 2 up is because of the Stardust Assault Mode decks that are randomly around. Because when they do that, you can just go, oh, nope, Grand Convergence, and just blow up their monsters. Or if they're 6 Sems, blow up every single one of them. If you have 6 Sems, have Swarming, X-Sabers, blow them all up, pretty much blow up anything. This card will wreck your opponent, but make sure you don't have a thing that you don't care about blowing up. So 1 Soul Exchange, you could get away with 2, I just prefer 1. Also, what it does is you can target your opponent's monster and use it as tribute, but of course you can't attack when you do that, for that turn at least. Let's see, swords. Let's see, I don't think I've talked about swords too much. Basically, it's good to use this so that you can flip stuff over and then see what your opponent's playing or using, and seeing if you need to use the, what's it called? Soul Exchange. Also, miss out burn dikes and all that good stuff. Also, your opponents can attack. Opponent or opponents. 2 Macrocosmos, you don't need 3, and this card, why you run 3 Dimensional Fissures over Macrocosmos is because this one is a trap, and even though it does send everything to the banish zone, it is a little tougher not to, what's it called? It's a little tougher to have this out on the field, unlike Dimensional Fissure, where you just put out Dimensional Fissure, and like, okay. You're mostly using your banished things for monsters, but this one is pretty good to get rid of your opponent's random spells and traps. Magic Cylinder, I've talked about it. It just reflects damage. Destroy opponent's monsters. So here's an interesting little fact. For this one, you pay half your life points and you bring back up to as many monsters that are banished that you can find on your field. However, when the turn ends, you have to banish them right back. So what you do is you keep going until you have like a really good setup, and then I don't know, maybe you just want to keep going, and until your field isn't strong enough or whatever, and you have like an OTK play. That's usually when you want to use this card. So what you would do is you have macro, you use this, you blow up your opponent's monsters, and you blow up your own because you don't really care, because you have this card. And Amber is a trap card, so you have to be careful about that if you're using it, because it takes a turn to get into play. So like you have 3 Kai's banished, 2 of these banished. You activate where is it? Grand Convergence. Then you activate Return from the different dimension. You bring out all your monarchs. 5 of these is 10,000 damage. Along with the 400, so it's 10,000. I think it's 12,000 damage. I could be wrong, but that's a lot of damage to be doing. Also, the good thing to know about monarchs is if your opponent is setting monsters, that means you have them in a lock, basically. The monarch lock isn't really a real kind of thing, but if your opponent's setting stuff to deal with monarchs, because they just activate their effects when they get on the field, so. Or like how it says target 1 card on the field, 1 tribute summon. So you can go Kai's, tribute for another Kai's, tribute for another Kai's. I mean, if you had ultimate offering, I'm not running it, of course. But yeah, you could just keep spamming monarchs and monarchs over monarchs. And if your opponent's setting, it's not going to do anything for them because they're like, oh well. And I'm talking about the monster zone, not the spell and traps. Spell and traps can still hurt you really badly. Another thing to keep in mind when you use a monarch's effect like Kai's or Ryaza, you definitely want to target for the monster. If you target for the back row, you have a big chance of getting bottomless. And if you hit a bottomless with Kai's, it really changes a lot, because you summon Kai's and then, well, bottomless, and then your monster gets destroyed and removed, and you of course remove the bottomless, but you don't go plus. At least if you target your opponent's monster, then it doesn't do too much to you, because you got rid of his monster. He probably needed it or something, and you just get rid of it. So, good thing to keep in mind. Usually go for the monsters. Also, save Kai's for situations where you need him. I would stick to Ryaza's, Mobius, and Zarbog's, and trying to get the field filled up with monarchs. But Kai's you want to use when you're dealing with like Marshmallons and Spirit Reapers and stuff that's stalling out, or if you're having trouble getting over stuff. That's usually when you want to use this one. So, I mean, you can use it anytime you feel like. I'm just giving suggestions. Now, here's another kind of Dark Hole card, except it's a trap version of Dark Hole. And when someone summons, blow up everything. And as I said, you return and bring back all your monarchs. That's pretty much all you really need to know about it. Right. So in the extra deck, I'm still rebuilding it, apparently. But while I have you guys, I'm just gonna put them in. Show you guys that I don't really take too much pride in making extra decks, because they don't matter too much. Where is he? So we'll put a Black Rose in there. We will put while I'm doing this, and this is important, if you're running Cyber Dragons, I always suggest putting one of these in, because of the fact of ancient gears and gadgets and whatever. But I don't have a side deck, as you can see, but you can run Necrophases, which is pretty good to use. They'll mill out, like you could summon it, return everything, tribute it, and then mill out some of your opponents in your deck. And you really don't care if they mill out your deck, because I'm not using Dark Strike Fighter. I don't like him. His effect is good. He's not a bad card. I just don't like using him. But anyways, so yeah, you can use Necrofaces to banish your top 5. You want to try to stick to monsters, I think, if you're going to replace them. There's not really any monsters I would change. You're not playing any what the heck is it called? You're not playing. Your graveyard is supposed to be like banished zone stuff, so you're not really into monster reborns anyways. So what thought ruler do I? I'll take out Stardust and put a thought ruler. So here's the extra deck. I was just building like right there. We don't run any tuners, but you can brain control and make stuff like Arcanite, Miststorm, Dark End with Caius. I love this card. Yeah, that's pretty much my extra deck. That's what I basically do for my extra deck. Just go and put staple synchros in there. So yeah, I talked long enough. If you want to, you could put a crush card in here. I'll give you suggestions if you want. Crush cards are pretty good because you use DD Scout Plane and just wreck your opponent's hand, and the good thing is this card will come right back. You could play Necrofaces to mill out your opponent's deck and to speed up your deck a little bit. Anything else I could think of? The only things you really might want to worry about is... Oh, I don't have MST in here, I just realized that. Okay. You can play 8 Mystical Space Typhoons in here. Bait Dolls, and whatever. You need to be careful about Imperial Iron Walls if you're ever run into it. So, usually you want to have like Mystical Space Typhoons or something. Or you could just use Mobius to get over it. Or Caius, or whatever. Or not Caius, Breaker. Caius can still get over it, but still. How do I think of this deck? I like the deck because of my thing. I don't know if I mentioned it. I love making remove and play decks. Not the ones where you sit there, mill, game 5,000 or whatever. But just like banish decks or whatever. And using DD Survivor, and he just keeps coming back, and everyone's like, stop. So I'll put up some dueling commentary right after this. I just want to show off the deck, and I hope you guys like it. Thanks for the suggestion and request, and here's your deck thing over here. The other way of playing this is using like stuff like Treeborn Frogs and Spell Striker and whatever. But this one, I think, in my opinion, is a little more superior than the other one. I mean, the other one is a little quicker, but this one just does a lot more damage to people's decks. So I hope you enjoyed the deck recipe, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.